What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And the reason why I'm so excited is because we have a major update on the Matheus Nunes to Liverpool transfer saga, and Correio da Manhã, a Portuguese news outlet, is reporting that Matheus Nunes has rejected a contract of a lifetime from Wolverhampton Wanderers because he's holding out for a move from Liverpool. He wants to play for a club in the Champions League and he wants to play for a club who can win titles and trophies, and Liverpool are in desperate need of a midfielder because Thiago is out injured. And look, against Fulham, Liverpool played pretty badly and we turned the game around, and thankfully we almost we got a draw. We almost won it at the end. We didn't lose, but Liverpool substituted on 19-year-old Harvey Elliott, 19-year-old Fabio Carvalho and 36-year-old James Milner. Are we really putting the title hopes and to keep the title race alive on those kind of players? Don't get me wrong, I love Harvey Elliott, I love Fabio Carvalho, I love James Milner. They are great players. In the case of the youngsters, they are big talents with big futures. But are we really going to rely on them week in, week out to keep us in the title race against an almost perfect Manchester City side? I think that would be a big gamble from a Liverpool point of view. And the Correio da Manhã journalist believes that Nunez wants to wait for a proposal of Liverpool, and he's willing to agree a move to basically a Liverpool or a big English club like Manchester City or Man United or Chelsea. And sporting manager Ruben Amorim still wants to get the best out of the midfielder this season, but he is aware if an offer from a top club arrives, then he will have to sell, as the players will have the opportunity to get the contract of a lifetime. And Sporting played out a 3-3 draw against Braga, and Matheus Nunes was brilliant in that game. He got an assist, and Liverpool scouts once again watched him and took notice of his brilliant performance. He was one of the best midfielders on the pitch. And remember that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is out with a long-term injury. Curtis Jones is also out with an injury. And yes, Naby Keita was ill. He could be back for the Crystal Palace game. But if any of Keita, Henderson or Fabinho gets injured, then our first choice midfield basically is screwed. And we can't field a strong enough midfield that could help Liverpool, maintain the pace that this relentless Manchester City side are dictating early on in the Premier League title race. And according to O Jogo newspaper, Liverpool are very interested in Matheus Nunes, and Sporting are already lining up to sign Matheus Nunes' replacement. According to the news outlet, they want to replace him with Estoril's Andre Franco, who could arrive for just 4 million euros. Nunes has a very unique profile and he has similar ball-winning ability to Rodri, but also has the creative capacity of someone like Kevin De Bruyne, even though I don't think that comparison is justified. Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best attacking midfielders in the world, and Matheus Nunes is probably nowhere near that good. But still, he is a very attractive player and a very attractive option for Jurgen Klopp and Julian Ward, the Sporting transfer guru, to consider signing. And Liverpool really need a right-sided centre midfielder who could provide for cover for Thiago, who could miss the next 7-8 weeks with an injury. And yes, Harvey Elliott can play there. Fabio Carvalho will probably play on the left side of the midfield or on the left side of the attack. And Milner can play there as well, but I mean, Milner is 36, Elliott is 19, one of the players is too old, is too young. So we don't want to rely on those kind of players week in, week out to deliver for us. I haven't personally watched the Sporting Braga game in full, but one of the journalists who watched, he said that Matheus Nunes is playing out of his mind for Sporting. One of the best performances I have seen from him, and doing against a really good Braga midfield with Armus Ratti and Andre Horta, which is no small feat. Let's talk about Matheus Nunes' price tag. He has a release clause of 60 million euros and a contract until 2026, but Sporting would pick up the phone for an offer of around 40-45 million pounds. Anything less and I don't think Liverpool have a chance of signing Matheus Nunes. So Liverpool have to weigh up, is it worth it to just not sign Matheus Nunes for 40 million or 45 million and risk Liverpool's title hopes really getting derailed early on in the season because of Thiago's absence? Or is it worth signing Matheus Nunes? Because I think it's worth it, because if Liverpool don't sign a midfielder right now, then Liverpool have to sign 2 midfielders next summer. James Milner is almost definitely leaving. Henderson and Thiago will be 1 year older, and we might need a replacement for one of them. So next summer, signing 2 midfielders will be a lot more difficult than this summer signing 1 midfielder, and then next summer signing another one, like Jude Bellingham. So this summer, Matheus Nunes, and next summer Jude Bellingham would be, I think, the perfect scenario for Liverpool. And journalist Dean Jones said that Liverpool love the profile of Matheus Nunes, and he said it wouldn't totally surprise me if Liverpool do make an offer for either a midfielder or a forward. I think they will only do one and not the other. Obviously, Matheus Nunes at Sporting is the one that we should look at. It's a market that people are loving at the moment, the Portuguese league, and I know Liverpool have been scouting the Portuguese league. That's why we signed Luis Diaz, that's why we signed Darwin Nunez. And Liverpool think Matheus Nunes' profile is perfect. So I think if Liverpool are interested in Matheus Nunes, we will go for him. The big question is, where do the Portuguese news outlet get their sources from? If it's a legitimate source, then Liverpool will sign this player in the next few weeks. So let's hope it is, because I think we need a midfielder like him. And Liverpool have a massive injury list. We have 10 players out injured at the moment. Thiago is the latest, but we also have Naby Keita out injured. He could be back for the Crystal Palace game. Curtis Jones out injured long term. Konate out injured long term. Diogo Jota out injured long term. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Kostas Tsimikas, Kevin Kelleher, Calvin Ramsey and Kyle Gordon. So that's 10 players injured. Yes, most of them are not like starting 11 material, but still, to start the season and after just one game of the Premier League season to have 10 players out injured is really incredible. And let's hope that most of them will come back quickly. And a lot of journalists said that going into this summer, Liverpool and Julian Ward's top priority was to sign Jude Bellingham. But he was not for sale. Dortmund said there is no way we are selling him, he's not on the market. So we turned to Aurelien Tchouameni. But because Real Madrid couldn't get Mbappe, they had this huge amount of money that they wanted to spend on a brick player. So they signed Tchouameni, and there was no way Liverpool could rival Real Madrid's £100 million offer. And also Tchouameni preferred Real Madrid. And since then, Liverpool have not been able to find the ideal target. So it looks like, unless the perfect opportunity presents itself, like it did with Luis Diaz in January, Bellingham will remain Liverpool's long-term target. And I think maybe Sporting are asking for too much money for Matheus Nunes, or maybe Liverpool think we should sign Jude Bellingham next summer and not Matheus Nunes this summer. But I don't think those are exclusive things. I think Liverpool should do both. I think we should sign Nunes this summer and Bellingham next summer, because as I said, a lot of our midfielders are over 30 years old. So Liverpool would need to sign at least 2 midfielders next summer for sure. And what is really worrying is that last season Jordan Henderson had 86% pass accuracy, but in the last 2 games where Jordan Henderson started for Liverpool, his pass accuracy went down to 69%. He only completed 69% of his passes. That's way down from the 86% average from last season. So unless Henderson really improves massively, he might find himself out of the Liverpool team. But who would you play ahead of him with a lot of midfielders injured? I don't think defensively it would be solid enough to play a midfield of Naby Keita and Harvey Elliott. So maybe we will play Naby Keita, James Milner and Fabinho. But does that midfield strike you as a title-winning midfield? I'm not sure. And Jurgen Klopp said that Liverpool will only sign a player if a bad injury happens to the squad. But now it happened. Thiago is out injured with a pretty bad hamstring injury. He is out for at least 6, maybe even 7-8 weeks. What is that if not a bad injury? So will Liverpool sign a midfielder? According to Jurgen Klopp's words, we should. But if we don't, I think we take an unnecessary risk. If Matheus Nunes is available for for 38, 40, 45 million pounds. I think that's really not the end of the world in terms of spending that amount of money. We only spent big on Darwin Nunez, and Fabio Carvalho didn't cost much. And I love the fact that on Wikipedia, if you look up Matheus Nunes, it already says that he is playing for Liverpool FC. So somebody edited his Wikipedia page and said current team Liverpool FC. So I find that absolutely hilarious. And Darwin Nunez also not only broke the record of getting a goal and an assist in his Premier League debut for Liverpool. That's a record. Never before a Liverpool player got a goal and an assist on his Premier League debut. But also he has recorded a league high top speed, which is 36.53 kilometers per hour during the game. And last season, in the whole of last season, the top speed for the fastest player, I think, was 36.7 kilometers per hour. And thanks to statistics shared by Norwegian company Viaplay Football, it has been revealed that Darwin Nunez recorded this incredible high top speed, and he recorded a higher top speed than anybody else during the first game week, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And it shows actually that Darwin Nunez is not only big, strong, but he's incredibly fast as well. And Jamie Carragher was asked about Bobby Firmino's performance at Fulham, and he said he has not been a regular in the team now, Firmino, for probably over the last 12 months since Diogo Jota came in, and Sadio Mane went through the middle towards the end of last season as well. Mane was playing as an out-and-out striker, but you can't be too critical of Bobby Firmino for just this one game. Certainly for what he has done for Liverpool and the miles he has put in for this club, he demands and deserves respect and a little bit of patience as well. Of course, Liverpool have brought in Darwin Nunez for a reason. I'm sure he will be playing on Monday night against Crystal Palace. And Bobby Firmino will be more of a squad player from now on and towards the end of the season. But Firmino will still play a huge part in Liverpool's season, and I still have faith in him. But some games it just passes him by a little bit. And I also have very high hopes of Harvey Elliott, who when he came on against Fulham, he really impacted the game, and his creativity is something that Jordan Henderson and Fabinho and Milner don't really have in midfield. So we need these type of players, Fabio Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, Naby Keita, Curtis Jones, who have that creativity, that little bit of flair, that little bit of zip when they go about in midfield. Because yeah, we can't rely on Henderson and Milner to be those kind of players. Let's hope that Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones and Fabio Carvalho really mature and develop and become much better players during the season, because Liverpool badly need that with the lack of midfield options that we have. And that's it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you later. Bye.